This is GCE O Level Mathematics, Lecture 14, Simple Interest, Compound Interest, and Hire Purchase. Hello everyone, my name is Dennis. This video is brought to you by Ace with Dennis. Now, learning can be smart, not hard. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell notification button to stop missing out free lessons from me. Let's start the lecture with the topic simple interest. First, what is interest? Interest is the cost of using money. If you borrow money and returns it back after a period of time, you pay interest. On the other hand, if you save or invest money in a bank, investment fund, or insurance, you earn interest after a period of time. The next question is, what is simple interest? In simple interest, interest is calculated by multiplying a fixed percentage to the principal every term. A term can be daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly. Here is a simple example. I borrow $1,000 from a bank and pay a simple interest of 5% per annum. So for this case, interest that I need to pay will be $1,000 times 5%, which is $50 per year. Now, let's watch this table, how the interests are grown over a few years. So let's start with year number 1. The sum before year 1, which means at the beginning, we start at $1,000. Interest charge is $50, and the sum after 1 year is $1,050. Now we move on to year 2. The sum before year 2 is now $1,050, interest charge is $50, and the sum after 2 years is $1,100. Move on to year 3. The sum before year 3 is $1,100, interest charge is $50, and the sum after 3 years is $1,150. We'll repeat the same process for the next few years, and we can put in a generic form T years. So the sum before T years is $1,000 plus 50 times T minus 1. Interest charge is still remain the same, which is $50, and the sum after T years is $1,000 plus 50T. So this is a generic form for this simple example. Recall the previous example. The amount of money that I borrow is the principal, symbol P. The percentage of interest charged per term is called interest rate, R. The number of terms in this case is year, symbol is T. Now, the formula of simple interest is I equals PRT. To calculate the sum of money S at the end of the term, S equals principal plus interest, and the interest is PRT. The equation becomes S equals P plus PRT, and I can factorize the P, so the formula is S equals P bracket 1 plus RT. This can be applied to investment too, where the amount of money that I invest is the principal or capital, symbol is P. The percentage of interest earned per term is called interest rate, R, symbol, and the number of terms, the symbol is T. So the equation or formula for the simple interest still apply for investment case. Let's look at example 1. Mr. Lim takes a car loan of $80,000 with simple interest of 3% per annum for 10 years. Calculate A. The interest that he has to pay at the end of 10 years. B. The total amount of money that he has to pay at the end of 10 years. Here's the solution. For A, interest formula is I equals PRT. So the principal is $80,000. The rate is 3% and the time is 10 years. Hence the interest is $24,000. For B, we know that S equals P plus I, hence the P is $80,000 plus interest is $24,000 and the value is $104,000. Or you can apply this formula S equals P bracket 1 plus RT, where the P is $80,000, the rate is 3%, the time is 10 years. And it is $80,000 times 1/3, which is $104,000. Now you can try this example yourself. Eddie invests $120,000 in an investment fund which pays him simple interest of 3% per annum for 8 years. Calculate A. The interest that he will earn at the end of 8 years. B. The total amount of money that he accumulates at the end of 8 years. You can pause the video and try to solve it yourself. Alright, so here's the solution. For A, interest formula is I equals to PLT. So for this case, the P is $120,000 times 3% of the interest rate, and the time is 8 years. So the value for the interest is $28,800. For B, the formula is S equals to P plus I. So the P is $120,000 and the I is $28,800. So the sum will be $148,800. Or you can use another formula, S equals P bracket 1 plus RT. P is $120,000, R is 3%, and the T is 8 years. So the value for the S will be $148,800. Now, let's look at example 2, finding principal. Atan saves some money in a bank which pays him simple interest of 2% per annum. After 5 years, total amount of money in his bank account is $9,350. A. How much money does he save in the beginning? B. Calculate the amount of money that he has earned. Here is a solution. So this question, they give us the sum after 5 years with the interest of 2%. Hence, we use the formula S equals P bracket 1 plus RT, where P equals S over 1 plus RT. So given the S is $9,350, the rate is 2%, and the time or term is 5 years. So equation becomes P equals $9,350 over 1 plus 0.02 times 5, and the value for the principal is $8,500. B is to find the interest, where I equals S minus P. So the S, which is the sum after 5 years, is $9,350 minus principal $8,500, and the interest is $850. Or you can use I equals PLT formula. P is $8,500, R is 2%, and T is 5 years. We still get the same value, which is $850. Now you can try this similar example yourself. Peggy borrows some money from a financial firm which charges her simple interest of 3.5% per annum. After 9 years, she has paid $15,780. A. How much money does she borrow in the beginning? B. Calculate interest that she has paid. You can pause the video and try to solve it yourself. Alright, here's a solution. Given that the sum after 9 years is $15,780, interest is 3.5%. Hence, we use the formula S equals P bracket 1 plus RT, where the P is equals S over 1 plus RT. Given S is $15,780, the rate is 3.5%, and the term is 9 years. So principal is $15,780 over 1 plus 0.035 times 9, and the value for the principal is $12,000. For B, to find the interest, we can use the formula I equals S minus P, where the S is $15,780 minus $12,000. So the value for the interest is $3,780. Or we can use another formula, I equals PLT, where P is $12,000, interest rate is 3.5%, and the T is 9 years. We get the same value, which is $3,780. Example 3 is related to finding interest rate. A businessman took a loan of $3,600 from a bank and paid $4,140 after 15 months. Assume that the bank charges him simple interest. A. What is the interest rate per annum for his loan? B. If he only paid his loan after 18 months, how much additional interest that he had to pay? Here's a solution. So given that the principal is $3,600, after 15 months, the sum is $4,140. So what's the formula that we can use? Yes, the formula is S equals P bracket 1 plus RT, and there we just substitute the values given. S is $4,140, principal is $3,600. The R we need to find. The T is 15 months. We have to divide it by 12 because we have to convert the unit to year, as the question is asking us interest rate per annum. Then from here we want to solve this equation to find the value of R. So 1 plus R times 15 over 12 equals 4,140 divided by 360. Simplify, we get 5 over 4R equals 1.15 minus 1. Then R is 0.15 times 4 over 5, which is equals to 0.12 or 12%. For B, so the question is asking, instead of paying back this loan for 15 months, this businessman paid the loan after 18 months. So he has to pay additional 3 months. How much additional interest that he had to pay? Okay, we can use this formula, I equals PRT. The P is $3,600, the rate is 12% or 0.12, and now for the T is 18 minus 15, which is additional 3 months. They divided by 12 to convert it to year, and the interest that he has to pay extra is $108. Let's try this similar example yourself. An investor invested $15,000 into a fund and withdraws $17,800 after 28 months. Assume that the fund pays her simple interest. A. What is the interest rate per annum for her investment? B. If she withdraws her fund after 20 months, how much money will she lose? You can pause the video and try to solve it yourself. Here's the solution. So from here, given the principal is $50,000 and the sum is $70,800, the term is 28 months. So we can use the formula S equals P bracket 1 plus RT, where the S is $17,800, the principal is $15,000, R we need to find, the T is 28 divided by 12, and if we try to solve this equation, 1 plus R times 28 over 12 equals $17,800 over $15,000, 7 over 3, R equals 89 over 75 minus 1, R will be 14 over 75 times 3 by 7, which is 0.08 or 8%. For B, we use the formula I equals PLT. So the question is asking, instead of withdrawing the money after 28 months, she withdraw earlier, which is after 20 months. So if you withdraw the money earlier, you lose some money for the next remaining 8 months, right? So how much that she will lose? So the P is $15,000, the rate is 8%, and the T will be 28 minus 20 divided by 12. So the value is $800. Now, let's look at example 4, which is a special example. Ek Chong, who is 35 years old now, invests $100,000 in a fund which pays him simple interest of 20% per annum. He hopes that he will have at least $1 million when he reaches his retirement age, which is 65 years old. A. Will his dream come true? Why? B. How long does he need to wait so that he can get $1 million at the end? Okay, so now let's see if his dream will come true or not. For A, we want to find the term first, which is 65 years old, the retirement age, and minus 35, which is his current age. So he still have 30 years. Now we can apply the formula S equals P bracket 1 plus RT, and substitute the principal is $100,000, interest rate is 20%, so it's 0.2, the time is 30 years. Okay, then we found that the sum after 30 years is $700,000, which means that no, his dream will not come true. He will get less than expected because it is $700,000. Right? So now, how long does he need to wait so that he can get $1 million at the end? Okay, so we can use the formula again, the same formula, S equals to P bracket 1 plus RT. So the S now is the aim, which is $1 million. The principal is $100,000. Okay, and the rate is 20%. They want to find T. So now we solve this equation. 1 million divided by 100,000 equals 1 plus 0.2T. Simplify. 0.2T equals 10 minus 1. The T will be 9 over 0.2, which is 45 years old. 45 years. Okay, now here's additional question here. If he insists that he wants to get $1 million at the age of 65 years old, what will you suggest? Do you have any answer for this question? Alright, so here there are two things you can suggest. The first one is invest on investment that pays him at a higher interest rate, or increase his capital or principal, which is currently $100,000. Next, let's talk about compound interest. What is compound interest? Interest in the next period is then earned on the principal sum plus previously accumulated interest. The other name for compound interest is interest on interest and reinvest interest. So this makes compound interest to be different from simple interest as mentioned in the definition here. How we calculate interest, it comes from the earned interest on the principal sum plus the previously accumulated interest. For simple interest, we don't include the accumulated interest from the previous term. Alright, so that's why the other name for the compound interest is interest on interest and reinvest interest. So interest grows faster in compound interest compared to simple interest. Here is a very simple example. I borrow $1,000 from a bank and pay a compound interest of 5% per annum. Right now, let's see how interest is growing in compound interest from this table. Let's start with year 1. The sum before year 1 is $1,000. Interest rate is 5%. Interest charge will be $1,000 times 5%, which gives us $5. And the sum after year 1 will be $1,000 times 1 plus 5%, which equals $1,050. Now we move on to year 2. The sum before year 2 now becomes $1,050, which comes from the sum after year 1. Interest rate is 5%. Interest charge will be $1,050 times 5%, which is $52.50. And the sum after year 2 is $1,000 times 1 plus 5% times 1 plus 5%, which is $1,102.50. Notice that this 1,000 times 1 plus 5% comes from the sum after year 1. Now move on to year 3. The sum before year 3 is $1,102.50, which comes from the sum after year 2. Interest rate is 5%. Interest charge is $1,102.50 times 5%, which gives us $55.13. The sum after year 3 is $1,000 times 1 plus 5% square times 1 plus 5%, which equals $1,157.63. Notice that $1,000 times 1 plus 5% square comes from the sum after year 2. Now move on to year 4. The sum before year 4 is $1,157.63. Interest rate is 5%. Interest charge is $1,157.63 times 5%, which is $57.88. And the sum after year 4 will be $1,000 times 1 plus 5% cubed times 1 plus 5% equals $1,215.51. Again, notice that 1,000 times 1 plus 5% cubed comes from the sum after year 3. So we repeat the process and we can form a more generic form for this compound interest. Like for year end, the sum before year end would be $1,000 times 1 plus 5% to the power of n minus 1. Interest rate is 5%. Interest charge will be $1,000 times 1 plus 5% to the power of n minus 1 times 5%, which gives the sum after n years will be $1,000 times 1 plus 5% to the power of n. So observing this pattern can help us to form the general equation for compound interest. Recall the previous example. Here are a few terms that you need to know. The first one is the amount of money that I borrow is the principal, symbol P. The percentage of interest charged per term is called interest rate, symbol I. The number of terms in this case is year, is n. And the sum after n years is S. So from these terms, we can form the compound interest formula, which is S equals P times 1 plus I to the power of n. So please remember this formula when it involves compound interest. To calculate interest earned, I, at the end of the term, the formula is I equals S minus P. So since S is P times 1 plus I to the power n, hence the I equals P times 1 plus I to the power n minus P. Simplify further, I equals P times 1 plus I to the power n minus 1. This can be applied to investment too, where the amount of money that I invest is called the principal or the capital, symbol P. The percentage of interest earned per term is called interest rate I, and the number of terms is n. Let's see example 5. Mr. Goh takes a house loan of $800,000 with compound interest of 1% per annum for 10 years. Calculate A. The sum of money that he has to pay at the end of 10 years. B. The interest that he has to pay at the end of 10 years. So here's the solution. For A, remember the formula of compound interest S equals P times 1 plus I to the power of n. For this case, the principal is $800,000, the interest rate is 1%, and the number of terms is 10. So the equation becomes S equals 800,000 times 1 plus 1% to the power of 10. Hence, the sum is $883,697.70. B. To calculate interest, the equation is I equals sum minus the principal. For this case is $883,697.70 minus $800,000, which is $83,697.70. Or we can use this formula I equals P times 1 plus I to the power n minus 1 and substitute the values. P is $800,000, interest rate is 1%, and is 10. And we will get the same answer, $83,697.70. Now, you can try this similar example yourself. Aaron invests $120,000 in an investment fund which pays him an interest of 3% per annum compounded half yearly for 8 years. Calculate A. The total amount of money that he accumulates at the end of 8 years. B. The interest that he will earn at the end of 8 years. You can pause the video and try to solve it yourself. Right, here's the solution. For A, we use the same formula of compound interest S equals P times 1 plus I to the power of n. Now, for this case, the principal is $120,000, interest rate is 3%, but there is one additional condition where the interest is compounded half yearly for 8 years. So what does it mean by half yearly for 8 years? It means that the interest is calculated 2 times every year, right? So that's why the equation becomes $120,000 times 1 plus the interest rate. We have to divide by 2, the 3% divided by 2 because of this compounded half yearly. And the n is not 8, but it's 8 times 2 because 1 year we calculate the interest 2 times, right? So that's why the value becomes $152,278.27. Next, for interest to earn, right, is the same thing. I is sum minus principal, which is $152,278.27 minus $120,000, which gives us $32,278.27. Or you can use this formula I equals P times 1 plus I to the power n minus 1. Again, you have to be careful with the interest and the n. So the interest is 3% divided by 2 and the n is 8 times 2. So the sum will get the same value, which is $32,278.27. Next, let's move to example 6, which is related to finding principal. Charles saves some money in a bank which pays him an interest of 2% per annum compounded quarterly. After 5 years, total amount of money in his bank account is $8,640.28. A. How much money does he save in the beginning? B. Calculate the amount of money that he has earned. Here's the solution. We use the same formula of compound interest S equals P times 1 plus I to the power of n. And now for this case, you have to be careful again because the interest is 2% per annum compounded quarterly. So it means that every year, every quarter, the interest is calculated, right? So the P equals S over 1 plus I to the power N, right? Just move this bracket to the left-hand side. This what we get this formula. So the sum is $8,640.28 come from here. Interest now is 2%, 0.02 divided by 4 because compounded quarterly here. And the number of terms is 5 years times 4 terms, right? For 4 quarters. So total is 20 terms. And the value is $7,820. So for B, to calculate the interest is just the sum minus the principal, which is $8,640.28 minus $7,820, which is $820.28. Now you can try this similar example yourself. Jane borrows some money from a financial firm which charges her interest of 3.5% per annum compounded monthly. After 9 years, she paid $342,477.80 to clear the debt. A. How much money does she borrow in the beginning? B. Calculate the interest that she has paid. You can pause the video and try to solve it yourself. So here's the solution. For A, the compound interest is S equals P times 1 plus I to the power of N. So P will be S over 1 plus I to the power of N. Now, for this case, you have to be careful here. Again, one more time. Interest is 3.5% compounded monthly. Alright, so now when you substitute the value in this equation, the S is $342,407.80. And the interest is 3.5%, 0.035, and divided by 12 as compounded monthly. And the number of terms will be 9 years times 12. Right? Every month we calculate the interest. Hence, in total, the number of terms, right, or the number of times we calculate the interest is 9 times 12. And the value is $250,000. Right? And then to calculate interest, just use I equals S minus P. S is $342,407.80 minus $250,000, which gives us $92,407.80. Example 7 is related to finding the interest rate I. A businessman took a loan of $3,600 from a bank and paid $3,830.70 after 30 months. Assume that the bank charges him compound interest compounded half yearly. A. What is the interest rate per annum for his loan? B. If he only paid his loan after 42 months, after how much additional interest that he had to pay? Here's the solution. You use the same formula for A, right? S equals P times 1 plus I to the power of N. And for this question, you have to be very careful because the total period is 30 months. So the unit is in months instead of years. And the compound interest is calculated compounded half yearly. Okay, so it'll be a bit confusing here because the total period is given in months instead of years, and the interest is compounded half yearly. So when you substitute the value in this formula, S will be the same thing, $3,830.70. Principal is $3,600. And for the interest that we want to find, we have to divide by 2 as it is compounded half yearly. The number of terms N here, 30 months, you have to divide it by 6 because half a year is 6 months. Alright, so 30 divided by 6 will tell us the number of times it is compounded, the interest. Alright, I hope you understand when you have to divide, why you need to divide by 6 and why do you need to divide by 2 for the interest rate here. Alright, so once you get everything correct, now solve this equation. So 1 plus I divided by 2 to the power 5, right? 30 divided by 6 is 5. And then over here is $3,830.70 divided by 3,600. So the I divided by 2 is root of 53830.7 over 3,600 minus 1. Interest now is 2 times 0.0125, which is 2.5%. Now for B, right? So B means that instead of paying on time 30 months, right? This businessman paid late, which up to 42 months here. Okay, so the I is S minus P. So interest for 30 months will be $3,830.70 minus 3,600, which is $230.70. We have to calculate the interest for 42 months as well. So S is P times 1 plus I to the power N. So the S for 42 months is 3,600 times 1 plus 0.025 divided by 2 to the power 42 divided by 6. Right, the concept is the same. Interest have to divide that by 2 because of half yearly, and since given the period is 42 months, we have to divide by 6 months. Right, so the sum after 42 months is $3,927.06. So the interest for 42 months is $3,927.06 minus 3,600, which is $327.06. So the additional interest that he has to pay will be $327.06 minus $230.70, which is $96.36. Now you can try this similar example yourself. An investor invested $15,000 into a fund and withdraws $17,417.76 after 60 months. Assume that the fund compounds interest quarterly. A. What is the interest rate per annum for her investment? B. If she withdraws her fund after 54 months, how much money will she lose? You can pause the video and try to solve it yourself. Alright, here's a solution. For A, we use the same formula S equals P times 1 plus I to the power N. And for this question, it is very tricky. You have to be very careful here. Now, the total period is 60 months. Again, it is given in months, not in year. And then the compound interest is compounded quarterly, right? So the S here will be $17,417.76. Principal is $15,000. Now the interest is I, interest rate is I divided by 4 because it is quarterly. That means every quarter we calculate interest. So 1 year we will calculate 4 times. So I divided by 4. But for the N here, right, is 60 divided by 3, not divided by 4. Be careful because 1 quarter, there are 3 months. Alright, so 3 times 4 is 12, total 12 months, right? So that's why 1 quarter is 3 months instead of divide this 60 divided by 4 is divided by 3. I would say that this is a common mistake made by the students when it comes to this type of question. Okay, then you solve this equation. 1 plus I over 4 to the power 20 equals $17,417.76 divided by 15,000. Okay, so let's just continue to solve it. I divided by 4 equals this minus 1, right? And I will be 3%. Okay, so just have to be careful. Now for B, so she withdraws the fund earlier. So instead of 60 months, he withdraws at 54 months. Okay, so of course this is investment. The longer you wait, right, the more interest you earn. So that's why, right, she will lose some money if she withdraw earlier. So how much that she will lose? So the interest is S minus P. For the interest of 60 months will be sum is $17,417.76 minus 15,000, which is $2,417.76. Now we have to calculate the interest for 54 months. Where we have to repeat the same process, apply this formula as is P times 1 plus I power n. So the sum for 54 months is $15,000 times 1 plus, again be careful, 3% divided by 4 because of quarterly interest. 54 months divided by 3 months because 3 months per quarter, and the value is $17,159.41. Interest for these 54 months will be $17,159.41 minus $15,000, which is $2,159.41. So the interest difference is $2,417.76 minus $2,159.41, and the value is $258.54. So in other words, this investor will lose this amount of money if she withdraws earlier. Example 8, finding the number of terms n. Ek Chong, who is 35 years old now, invests $100,000 in a fund which pays him compound interest of 10% per annum. He hopes that he will have at least $5 million when he reaches his retirement age, which is 65 years old. A. Will his dream come true? Why? B. How long does he need to wait so that he can get $1 million at the end? Right, actually this is the modification of previous examples in simple interest. Okay, and I would say that this type of question is quite rare to come out in exam, because usually to find the number of terms, and we have to use logarithm, which we don't learn in mathematics here. Okay, so but it's okay. Let's discuss about the solution here. For A, right, the period is 65 minus 35, which is 30 years. Okay, I will just write the T here because I only refer to the period. I don't talk about the number of terms, right? So S equals P times 1 plus I to the power n. For this case, the number of terms is the same as the number of the period, because this interest is compounded yearly, right? So the number of terms will be the same as the number of the period. So for this case, it's $100,000 times 1 plus 1% to the power of 30, which is $1,744,940. So sorry, $1,744,940.23. Okay, so as you notice, right, everything for the values are the same with the previous example. Is the only difference is it is compound interest, and you find that the sum will be much larger than the simple interest. But will his dream come true? The answer is no. His dream will not come true because his target is to reach $5 million. He's still way behind $5 million. Okay, he will get less than expected. So for B, how long does he need to wait so that he can get $1 million at the end? Okay, $5 million at the end, right? So again, the same formula, S equals P times 1 plus I power n. So the sum now is $5 million. Okay, the principal is $100,000. Interest is I, 1%. Okay, now we will continue to solve this equation. 5 million divided by $100,000 equals 1 plus 1% power n. So 50 equals 1.1 to the power n. So here is the part where we have to use logarithm to solve the value of n here. So n log 1.1 equals log 50. So n is log 50 divided by log 1.1, which is about 41.045. Okay, again, don't worry about this logarithm if you haven't learned logarithm. As I mentioned, we don't learn this in mathematics. We only learn logarithm in additional mathematics, right? So now, if he insists that he wants to get $5 million at the age of 65 years old, what will you suggest, right? So the answer for C is exactly the same as the simple interest example. There are two ways he can do Either he invests on the investment that pays him at higher interest rates, or increase his capital or the principal. Okay? Next, let's talk about hire purchase. Sometimes we don't have enough money to buy something due to the selling price is too costly. We can have the option to own it with hire purchase. Here are some examples that will involve hire purchase: buying a house, a car, an electrical appliance, laptop, furniture, and so on. We pay partially, or we call it as down payment, and we take a loan to pay the remaining. We will be charged either simple interest or compound interest. We repay back the loan by monthly installment. The price that we pay after installment is called installment price. Here is a very practical example of hire purchase related to simple interest. To buy a car, let's say the selling price of a car is $100,000. So the first thing we need to do is we have to pay down payment. Usually, down payment for a car is 20%. So for this case, it is $20,000. Then the remaining of the price will be 80%. For this case, it is $80,000. So we don't have this much of money. We will have to take the bank loan, or it's called the car loan. So usually car loan is calculated based on simple interest. So for example, let's say the simple interest is 2% per annum, and it is paid for 5 years. So we know that I equals to PRT. So for this case, it's $80,000 times 2% times 5 years, which is $8,000. So the sum is the principal plus the interest. For this case is $80,000 plus 8,000, which is $88,000. So the money installment will be the sum divided by the total months. So for this case, the total months is 5 years times 12 months. So the money installment for this case is $1,466.67 per month. Now, we can calculate the installment price, which is the down payment plus the sum. So for this case, it's $20,000 plus $88,000, which is $108,000. Here is another example of hire purchase, and it is related to compound interest. So for example, to buy a condominium unit. The selling price of a condominium unit, let's say it is $1,200,000. So usually the down payment of buying a condominium unit in Singapore is 20%. So for this case, it is $240,000. And the remaining of the money, for this case is 80%, which is $960,000 for this case. So we don't have this amount of money, hence we have to take the house mortgage. So this is for house mortgage is calculated based on compound interest. Let's say the interest rate is 1.2% per annum, and it is paid for 30 years. Hence, the formula for compound interest is S equals P bracket 1 plus I to the power n. So for this case, the P is $960,000. Interest rate is 1.2%, and the n is 30. So the sum after 30 years is $1,373,050.81. Now, to calculate the interest, it will be just the sum minus the principal, which is $1,373,050.81 minus $960,000. So the interest after 30 years is $413,050.81. The next thing we need to know is the monthly installment. So it is a sum divided by total months. For this case is $1,373,050.81 divided by 30 years times 12 months, so which should give us 3,814,003 cents per month. And lastly, we can calculate the installment price, which is the down payment plus the sum. So for this case, it's $240,000 plus with $1,373,050.81. So the value will be $1,613,050.81, which means that at the end of the 30 years, this is the exact amount that we paid to buy this condominium unit. Let's see some examples of exam-based questions. So, example 9. Molly buys a new car at a price of $120,000 inclusive of COE on hire purchase mode. She makes a 20% down payment and pays $1,200 monthly installment for 10 years. Find the flat rate of interest of the installments. Alright, so if you see the name or the term flat rate, it means the interest rate of simple interest. Okay, so make 20% down payment, which means that she borrows 80%. Hence, here's a solution. So the principal is $120,000 times with the 80% of the remaining balance, right? So 100% minus 20%. So the principal is $96,000. Next, we apply the formula of simple interest, S equals P bracket 1 plus RT. Then we substitute the S, so it's $1,200 times 12 times 10, because $1,200 is the money installment for 10 years, so 12 months a year. So this is the total amount of money she pays back after 10 years. So the principal is $96,000. The T is 10. Okay, so from the correct equation, the next thing we do is we solve this equation. 1 plus 10R equals 144,000 divided by 96,000. So the R will be 1.5 minus 1 divided by 10, which is 5%. Now, you can try this similar example yourself. The cash price of a vending machine is $9,000. A businessman bought it by making 15% down payment and monthly installments of $178.50 over 5 years. Find the flat rate of interest of the installments. You can pause the video and try to solve it yourself. Alright, here's the solution. So the first thing we need to do is we find the principal. So down payment is 15%. The remaining will be 85%. Hence, the principal is $9,000 times 100% minus 15%. We get $7,650. Next, apply the simple interest formula, S equals P bracket 1 plus RT. So the sum is $178.50 times 12 months times 5 years. Principal is $7,650. Then bracket 1 plus R times 5. Then solve this equation, we get the interest rate is 8%. Next, example 10. Mr. Lam bought a laptop at $2,500. He paid for it by making 30 equal monthly installments at a flat rate of 2.5% per annum. Calculate the monthly installment. So here's the solution. To calculate the monthly installment, the first thing we need to know is to find the total sum after 30 months. Hence, we apply the formula S equals P bracket 1 plus RT to find the sum after 30 months. Okay, then we substitute the principal as $2,500. The rate is 2.5%. The time is 30 months, so be careful here. We have to divide by 12 because this is months, we have to convert to years, as the interest rate is per annum in year. So from here, after calculation, the sum is $2,550. Then we can calculate the monthly installment, which is $2,550, which is the sum divided by 30 months. And the value is $85. Now, you can try this similar example yourself. A furniture set is sold at the price of $6,500. Alan buys it by making 42 equal monthly installments at a flat rate of 5% per annum. Find the monthly installment. You can pause the video and try to solve it yourself. So here is the solution. To find the monthly installment, first we have to find the sum. So the sum after 42 months, we can apply the formula S equals P bracket 1 plus RT. The principal is $6,500, interest rate is 5%, and the time is 42 months divided by 12 months so that we can convert the unit to be years. Then we calculate the value for the sum is $7,637.50. Now we can calculate the monthly installment, which is the sum divided by the total months. So for this case is $7,637.50 divided by 42, which is $181.85 rounded off to the nearest cent. Now let's see example 11, which is related to compound interest. Sam bought a condominium unit for $1,400,000. He paid 30% in cash and borrowed the remaining at an interest rate of 2% per annum compounded monthly. He took the loan for 30 years. Calculate A. The initial loan, B. The monthly payment, C. The total interest charged at the end of 30 years. Here's the solution. The initial loan is the principal, so he has paid 30% down payment, hence the remaining will be 100% minus 30%, then multiply with the cost of the condominium unit, which is $1,400,000, hence the principal will be $980,000. B. The money payment. To calculate the money payment, we have to find the sum, then divided by the total months. So the sum is S equals P bracket 1 plus I to the power n. We use this formula because this is compound interest. So the principal is $980,000. The interest rate is 2% divided by 12 because the interest is compounded monthly. So we have to calculate the interest for 1 month. And the n will be 30 years times 12. So the sum will be $1,784,784.80. So this is the sum after the 30 years. So we can calculate the monthly payment, which is $1,784,784.80 divided by 12 months times 30 years, which will give us $4,957.74 rounded off to the nearest cents. C. Interest will be the sum minus the principal. Hence, for this case, the sum is $1,784,784.80 minus the principal, which is $980,000, and the value for the interest is $801,784.80. Now you can try this similar example yourself. Mr. Tang bought a HDB flat unit for $520,000. He paid 20% down payment and takes a housing loan at an interest rate of 1.6% per annum compounded quarterly. He took the loan for 25 years. Calculate A. The principal of the loan, B. The monthly payment, C. The installment price after 30 years. You can pause the video and try to solve it yourself. Here's the solution. For A, he paid 20% down payment, therefore the principal will be the remaining. To calculate the principal will be $520,000 times 100% minus 20%, which gives us $460,000. B, to calculate the money payment, we have to find the sum first. Hence, we use the formula S equals P bracket 1 plus I to the power of N. So the sum will be 416,000 bracket 1 plus 1.6% divided by 4 because it is compounded quarterly, and the N will be 25 years times 4 since it is calculated 4 times a year. So the sum will be $620,104.11. Then we can calculate the monthly payment, which is the sum divided by the total number of terms. So for this case, the sum is $620,104.11 divided by 12 months times 25 years. And we get $2,067.01. C. Installment price will be the sum plus the down payment. So the sum is $620,104.11 plus 20% of the down payment. So 0.2 times 520,000, and we get $724,104.11. Alright, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching. Do you have any questions or thoughts to share? Feel free to write it down in the comment area. I would love to hear from you. Do you like this video? Please don't forget to like it and share it to your friends. Until then, see you in the next video. Have a great day ahead.